the president of the Alibaba Group, his name is J. Michael Evans, he talks about tracking your carbon footprint.
We're developing, through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
So a couple of things. First of all, Alibaba Group, remember, is a Chinese corporation, an enormous Chinese corporation. Any business in China is, especially one of this size, is connected to the Chinese Communist Party. So this is a Chinese Communist Party entity, just like all big corporations are in China. J. Michael Evans is the president of Alibaba Group, and I think it's quite humorous in the not funny way that this World Economic Forum is inviting the president of Alibaba Group and completely ignoring the fact that the founder of Alibaba Group, Jack Ma, was disappeared by the Chinese communists, disappeared because he dared to question the corporate practices that the Chinese Communist Party was imposing on businesses like him. He just disappeared. For 3 months, this guy who was a global celebrity. We don't even live in China and we recognize Jack Ma. This guy was a global celebrity, the richest man in the world, and the Chinese communists disappeared him like that when he questioned their ideology. They later pretended that he surfaced in Hong Kong, but he didn't. It was a fake. It was reported. It was just a report by the Chinese state-owned and directed media, which is a propaganda arm of the Chinese communists. And now these people at the World Economic Forum just invite this new president, just completely ignoring the fact that the communists offed Jack Ma. Unreal. So it's a Chinese company that has a crazy history. The Chinese Communist Party just took out the richest man in China because he dared to question them. And now this president of this Alibaba Group is talking about developing technology to track where you travel and what mode of operation you use to travel, what you eat on a daily basis, and what kind of goods and services you consume. Think about this in the context of China. China already has a social credit score system. They already have this mass surveillance state. And now this Chinese communist entity, Alibaba Group, is trying to develop technology that tracks you based on climate change, based on the World Economic Forum idea that you should reduce your carbon footprint if you want to be a good citizen. It's not only awful, it's their own words. It's their own words. And then we have the CEO of Nokia, Pekka Lundmark, who talks about how technology isn't even going to be something external in less than 10 years, that your smartphone is going to become obsolete, but that's because that technology is going to be inside you.
It will, first of all, it will definitely happen. I was talking about 6G earlier, which is around 2030. I would say that by then, definitely the smartphone as we know it today will not anymore be the usual kind of the most common interface. Wow. Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies.
Which I find this to be incredibly creepy. I find this to be obviously very unethical. It's also the dream come true for controlling elitists like everyone at the World Economic Forum who treat us like the sorry people, they really want a strata of two different classes. The ruling party who set the rules, set the laws that they don't have to follow, just we have to follow because we're the masses. We're just the people with a lowercase p here. And they want it inside our bodies so that we don't have a choice about this. And what's in their own words, again, in their own words, they're the ones who said, this is what we're doing, this is what we're trying to develop, and this is why we're developing it. And then we have this idea that if you have some kind of social credit score system, some way that your behavior is tracked and then weighed against how the government wants you to behave, or how the world government, as the World Economic Forum is acting like, wants you to behave, there has to be some system of enforcement. There has to be some system of accountability. How are they going to coerce you to behave in the way that they want you to if there's no, I don't even want to say incentives, because incentives can have a positive connotation, but if there's no punishment, if there's no accountability and enforcement, and they present exactly how they would use an individual carbon footprint tracker or this technology built into your body to actually not just track your behavior, but to hold yourself, or to hold you accountable, for the government to hold you accountable.